In this video, we will see how, after importing Excel data, we can resynchronize or update the chart after the data has changed. So we imported an Excel data set. Now there's been changes to the organization that have been put into a new data set. And we are going to use that file to update the organization chart. And by the time we're done, we'll be able to do a comparison between the original chart and the new chart and see where the differences lie. First, as you'll recall, in the previous video on Excel import, we created this particular chart. And what we're going to do is take a look at the data that has now been updated, and we're going to see how the chart changes. I'll draw out a couple of things that are going to change in the process here. The top person, who is Joseph Goldberg, the title is going to change from president to CEO. Susan Fine, who's an executive assistant, is going to be changed. Her position is going to report to Ashley Larson. She's going to be given a pay increase, and her title is going to change to management trainee. If we look down here, John Tippett, the executive assistant, is going to be leaving the company. So this will show up as an open position. So let's just kind of review what's going to happen in Excel here for a second. So here we see those changes that I was talking about. The changes that will take place have been put into an Excel spreadsheet, and here's the title change for Joseph Goldberg. Here is Suzanne Fine, and her title is changed to management trainee. She has a new boss now, which is Ashley Larson, and we're using his manager ID. If I scroll to the right, we'll see how Suzanne was also given a pay increase to $50,000, and her new department is the sales department. Regarding that one individual, Tippett, that position is now going to be open. And also any reference to a photo has been removed. So there's really nothing personal left about that particular position. So we're going to show you how Resync works now. Now that you see that we have the original chart, we have the new data set, and now we're going to show you how you put it all together. For resynchronization, we have to go to the Data tab. So I click on the Data tab, and there's two items here that are very important. One is Resync Properties, the other is Resync Data. Resync Properties is the program's knowledge of which file it imported, the hierarchical structure, and any pagination that's taking place, such as we see on this particular chart. So that's where the brains are kept, so to speak. And the tracking of the data set that is going to be brought into the program. Resync data is simply the command that says, well, based on that data set that we're connected to, let's just go ahead and execute the computation and just bring those updates in. So when we start with Resync Properties, it's going to bring up a wizard. And the wizard, the first thing it's concerned about is us being able to identify the file we're supposed to be connected to. That file could either be an updated version of the original file, or it could be a new file. And that's what I've done in this case, is I have made changes to the original file and I saved it as a new file. So in this case, I select the file that is the updated file, and we're going to use that for our resynchronization. And if you'll note, in this resynchronization process, it looks very much like the import wizard. So here it is, we see the actual sheets or data sheets that are involved with the file that we're bringing in. We're getting a preview of the columns. The next image will show us the hierarchy. The hierarchy is a two-column hierarchy. The program remembers that from the original time that we did the import. And then we'll proceed to next. And here are all of the fields that are being brought into the program. And if you'll notice on the right-hand side, there's a check mark for a box called Update Field. That means these are the fields that if the data changes in the original import or the file that we're synchronizing to, these fields are going to be updated. We see that there's one field here, employee number, and it does not have a check mark for being updated, and that's because it's a key. But if we scroll through the list of these fields here, we'll see some that are actually the fields like levels above and below, head count, span of control. They show as unbound, and that's because the program takes responsibility to compute those. We are not taking those in from data. The program is actually performing those for us. The last step in the resync data process here is to select pagination. In general, for the most part, I would say always select do not create, because if you went through and provided a pagination that you like, then you don't want to undo it. So we're going to leave it alone. So I clicked on do not create and then finish. And that's really the end of us. Now we're looking at the new file that we're going to be bringing in. And now we have the understanding that that file is going to be used when we do the resync. So all I do then is I click on the resync. It fetches the data. It fetches the updates, any adds, moves, deletes. It's going to take care of those and we'll be done in 1 second. At the end of the resync process, we get a notification that a procedure log is available. We can look at that. And it's showing in this case that for each one of these positions, there's things that were changed. John Tippett, the old value was the name, John Tippett. The new value was open position. We see title changes, we see salary changes, photo file changes. So this is giving us an audit trail of everything that happened. Any adds, moves, changes, deletes will all show up within this log file. And if we look, based on what I was saying earlier, we'll see Joseph Goldberg, his title is now changed to CEO. If we look down below at Ashley Larson, we'll see that Suzanne Fine is now here as a management trainee. So all of this was taken in as an update using the synchronization process. One other point of interest is we moved an individual to an open position. So they left the company, and now we have just a silhouette of their image that's available, and we can see that that person has left the company. I'm going to save this file as a new version, and then we're going to do a compare. I've saved the file with a new name, and now on the Data tab, we're going to go to the Compare tool. Here it is on the Data tab, and so I'll click this, and it'll bring up a dialog for us to begin a comparison. So I have browsed for the source project, or our before file, and I've browsed to that and selected it. And then on the target project, or the new updated file, I have selected that one as well. And then I click simply on the OK button. Click on Close. And now we're going to see a color coding on both sides of what has changed. Any case where we see blue, we're looking at the right-hand side here on line 1. Blue indicates a change. If we were to see red, that would be a position removed. But blue in this case indicates that there's a change. Green would indicate an add. But we can see everywhere that we have a color-coded file now that's showing where the changes took place. Next, I'll compare differences only. And the list now shrinks to only those records that I made a change to. All of this can be pushed out to Excel for detail. So here we have the source, or the original organization chart and its detail, and then we have the target and all of its detail. And again, we see the color coding, blue for any kind of changes that have taken place. So in summary, this was a very simple way for us to see how any changes to the original data that we imported can be automatically serving as an update for us using the resync properties and the resync command. And then furthermore, afterwards, we can make changes to any other portions of the chart that we wish and resync on subsequent basis. And then do comparisons using the Compare tool. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. Support@officeworksoftware.com.